Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt. Suck my dick. Shut the fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here. Yeah. What?
What's going on, guys? We're rocking it out. We're back up here. We got another late episode, but it really doesn't matter. It's been 193 hours since we've done the last episode. How about that? Since I recorded the last one. Because I didn't forget to turn the timer off on the last time. So, right now in Oklahoma, let's see. I'm going to go over the COVID numbers just because we've been doing it every episode. We've got 158 new cases, 5 newly reported dead, 59 more recovered, so 6,073 total recovered, 353 total deaths, and 7,363 total cases. 937 of those cases are active. So, if we move over to our deaths, 18 to 35 now have 5. 36 to 49 is 56, and 65 plus is 284. If we're looking long-term health facilities, 1,529 of the associated cases. 959, 65%, or 62.7% are cases among residents, and then 37% are cases among staff. 191 have passed from nursing homes out of the 200 and... Oh, shit. Okay. Out of our 353. So, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that. I think that in the beginning of all of this going on, one second. In the beginning of all of this going on, that, you know, sorry, I gotta check I'm still recording. And we're good. So, you know, I heard Joe talking about the other day how just like in the beginning of this he was terrified, and I was too. I was genuinely scared and thought that it was going to be something more than that it was. And it seems like right now, at least, it seems like that it's not something as heinous or not something as scary as that we thought it was. And I mean, who's to say what's coming isn't going to be bad or something, or that, you know, we're catching a lull of this virus and maybe it's not. But I'm hopeful right now. I'm less fearful. We're late because I had to spend, oh man, all the responsibility of a grow is a lot. AC units being on fucking timers for no reason and going out. Fucking people not knowing what they're talking about. It's a lot of work, but I've got it pretty well covered. I spent all day today outside. Dug 12 1 foot by 18-inch deep holes. So actually they're really wide around there. I made them so that you could fit a 5-gallon pot inside of them, plus a little bit of wiggle room. And I put all new soil inside of those and then transplanted a bunch of babies outside. So hopefully we got an outdoor crop going of about 12 ladies. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm excited to see them start doing their thing. Hopefully they start producing, start doing some good shit for us. And the clones in the other room, I believe almost all 70 of them are doing good. I think we're down to 69 or 68. But everybody there's in good shape. Everybody's doing well. In the other room, we have the seedlings, and our brain candy is going ape shit. GG4's having a little bit of trouble, and that's the one that I wanted the most. But she's having some trouble, but she's starting to get her legs back. I finally felt like today the AC unit problem was all fixed. It came in 2 days in a row, and the AC units in one of the rooms stopped working, and it had changed the temperature in the room all the way up. Like, oh God, it was over 100 degrees in the room when I walked in there. So I stressed the hell out of them, and luckily, it's the room that I have very little stuff in right now, so it didn't hardly affect anything. But it was definitely fucking scary and annoying as shit. Beyond that, full-time doubling up right now. But it's good. I'm thankful to be at work, at least be working. There's a lot of people who aren't. What did we do? Okay, so transplanted the ones outside, and then we moved our seedlings, moved them over to 1 gallon pots. Oh, living soil. So there's a guy here, a local guy, who I'm getting all of my soil from. Let's see. I'll pull up his name real quick if I can, because it's amazing, and they'll re-amend your soil. So, it's amazing soil though. Anyways, they use natural compost from the area that he's in. All the castings from the worm castings, everything comes from a local source. I'll get the name in the next episode. I haven't got to try it yet, but I'm gonna give him a try because it saves money on shipping cost and having to have people come in from out of state. It's kind of cool too to keep it local. And another grower that I really respect, he's using the same soil. So if anybody knows any compost tea ideas, I'm very willing to listen right now, and I need lots of ideas for that kind of thing. But yeah, we're gonna run that on those, see how they go. I should be able to fill the cloner up in the next couple of days. And if we can fill the cloner up, that's about 459 clones that we can get up and running that I would like to see going. Then let's see. Oh yeah, when we get the cloner running, we'll change the shelving. I still haven't put together a good video for inside and outside of the grow. It's just been it's been a lot of work, to be honest, and not enough time to shoot all of this, and I'm doing both, so doing over 70-hour weeks right now, and it's a lot to try to keep up with, and then try to video on top of that and try to get some narrative. But we will get a good video of everything that's going on out there and what we got going and how things are. Yeah, I'm psyched to be finally at a point where something's something's happening. We're moving on, and we'll have some outdoor flower at least. I'm thinking, I'm not a huge fan of outdoor flower myself, and I'm thinking even if it doesn't wind up being some of the best bud, what we'll do is sell it for processing, and somebody will buy it. It's not going to go bad. It's a good experiment before we grow our own flower to see how we're going to use the curing process, what we're going to do with those procedures, because I think as of right now, we really don't know. I think that we're kind of just biding our time. So I'd like to experiment with all of that, see what we're going to do. That way, we're kind of forcing procedures into place and trying to learn what we're going to do. But man, I wanted to talk about issues with, like, I heard Bobby Lee talking about how a lot of the times, like, he won't stand up for himself with the police officer, or he'll let certain people talk to him a certain way. And just to, I don't know what it is, almost just like to not cause a ruckus or to not cause a scuff or a scene. But it's so stupid because it's, there's a spider on the mic. I don't want to get bit. Anyways, it's like, almost, I don't know, but you'll let people say things to you and say certain things, like, so obviously everybody knows that I was hiding in the bunker during the whole pandemic, and still working for the company, working a whole bunch of hours for a decent amount of money, but for less than we make in the shop. And you know, when I came back, people were less than grateful, and somebody came to me telling me about how I wasn't a manager anymore and some other things, and I think that I had apologized already for being gone and not really communicating my absence. And then even when the whole discussion of that came up, for some reason I still felt bad, and I caught myself apologizing again, in which, like, later on is more upsetting because, like, it's like, yeah, I mean, the apology was sincere the first time, but, like, what I should have said is, like, listen, if you had to work during this whole thing and you weren't responsible enough to save money, that's not my fault. I saved up enough money to not work during a crisis or something like this, if anything like this were to ever happen. I was going to request time off. I was asked by the company to do this, and so I did. It afforded me an opportunity to be away from people and away from the shop that was also for this company, and it was managing an entire another facility. So my absence here has nothing to do with me no longer being a manager here, since it was for this company. And I was still managing for this company while keeping up with the other shop over here, keeping up with y'all's bags, other kinds of orders. I've seen things that haven't been ordered since I've left. I mean, as far as those kinds of things goes, I'm still having to pay attention to manager type things. I should have just said that instead of saying that I was sorry or whatever again, because it's worse, I think, saying it and not meaning it, and then just fucking being pissed off about not saying how. Because, yeah, like I said, I was by myself out at the grow, putting things together, doing all that stuff. And I was doing it because I gave a fuck about the company and gave a fuck about my owners of the company, and, like, the fact, you know, that they afforded me this opportunity. So it wasn't about the amount of money that they were giving me. For me, it was about showing that I was grateful to be where I was at. And it's annoying that somebody who has no idea or no relevance in the situation wants to come out and try to talk shit. And I think I'm more annoyed, more annoyed at myself for not standing up for myself, and something that I need to do better of, no matter what it's going to cause, just saying how the fuck you feel on something. Because there's no reason for a confrontation, but there's no reason to Like, I'm not going to tell, because, I'm not going to tell him that he's an idiot, or that, fuck you, I'm this or I'm that. I can understand. I don't really have the time, and like trying to balance yourself 60 hours a week here and 30 hours a week there is a little much, and I would agree with that it's too much to put on wanting to give your attention as a manager to a shop while you're trying to manage a grow. It would be I wouldn't be doing a very good job, I don't think, at one of the two. So in order to excel at one, I would agree that another would have to take a back seat. But, I guess more standing up for yourself. Even when the instance with the police officer here recently, when I got rear-ended, and he was telling me that he was going to write me at fault. I should have said something. But, I was like, same kind of thing. Worried, not wanting to cause confrontation, and instead just, whatever. Maybe for the most part it works out for me, but it's more just thinking out loud, like, the fuck is it better to, and who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? It's crazy, man. It's like, but that's venting. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where we went with any of that, but I think people will appreciate it. I hope so, because it's like so many times you're like talking shit or having the argument that you still should have had. Like, I think sometimes it warrants saying how you feel, even if it causes some kind of problem. Maybe the police officer situation was the wrong one, because I would have probably landed me a ticket. And I was right in wanting to avoid confrontation with a police officer. I mean, obviously. And man, like, with everything that's been going on and all that, and like with police officers and everything, and the more you see, the more upsetting it is. And, like, whether something's fake or whether like, we've all seen cops take advantage of their power. And we've all seen it where they don't get punished right for something. And we've all seen discrimination. I think that's what's so upsetting. Like, it may not be the majority of what you see going on, and it may not be the majority of the cases, but even 2% is too much. And 2% right now is a lot. People are focused on this. And I think that it may be more than 2%, but like, it's just people who are in in power. I believe that they need to be held at a different standard. And if you're going to choose to take that job, I think that if you choose to break the law by doing something stupid, even texting and driving or whatever it is, that, whatever punishment there should be for that, it should be double for you or whatever. It's an it's an incentive for you to not do shitty things. And as far as brutality goes, it should be assault on a person. If you don't have the cause to do it or the whatever, if you get caught doing this, and body cam should be a must, or I don't know, some kind of system to where people are held more accountable. You can't get rid of police, and you can't set fire to the whole thing. I mean, I completely agree that there needs to be restructuring, and institutionalized racism needs to stop, because people don't realize that. And I read it last week on the stories that up until certain times, people weren't allowed to buy houses in certain areas. And if you think that cops weren't sent to patrol certain areas, then you're out of your fucking mind. I mean, it's been like, not that long ago, there were people who were slaves, and you're talking about not that long ago here in this town, there was a bunch of white people mad that a guy who assaulted a white girl wasn't getting hung, so they were going to do it themselves. Like, if that was happening to, like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, that was not that long ago. That there are the children of those people who saw that event and were there that are still alive, living right here. And I mean, that's, like, it's not dead, it's not gone. So it's got to be something that gets focused on. It's got to get something. And I hear everybody say, like, you got to get out there and you got to vote and you got to change. But like, my generation has been doing that, and the younger generation, like underneath me, has been doing that as well. Like, they've been talking about those things. So that's why people want to see an immediate change. People are like pissed now and they're angry now. Like, something has to happen. There has to be an option. There has to be a clear way. There has to be a way that we can be like, we want standards written for these people. We want expectations written for these people. We want rules. We want certain things that will absolutely not be okay. And like, we do need to pay more attention. We need to look at judges who are sending blacks to jail for no reason, or Hispanics to jail for no reason, or Native Americans to jail for no reason. It's a big problem here in Oklahoma for, in tribal counties or those kind of things, on reservations, where the police in a certain area will treat the Native American people like pieces of shit. And so it hits in a lot of walks of life in different ways. But the one thing that I think everybody can agree with is that it needs to stop and that it needs to be changed. I think that there's the extreme saying, no more police and all that. And, the extreme of saying completely defund the police and throw it back to schools, and people saying schools don't work. And it's like, Jesus Christ, well, maybe the schools don't work because there's not any money thrown into them. And when you see police with militarized vehicles and all those things, it's like, we do need to demilitarize our police. Like, they need to only be militarized in extreme situations and not against our own citizens, against like general threats. If there was a group of terrorists, homegrown terrorists, or some kind of crazy group inside of our own U.S. That they needed to go against, but not, innocent protesters. We've seen too many videos. We've seen videos of obviously the violent protesters, and it's disgusting, just as disgusting. I'm not saying that the one is more, one is better, but of the cops shooting people in the face, that are completely innocent or non-violently protesting. We've seen that. So, and then we see this guy coming out today. I put it on my Twitter. And he's talking about how the police are being treated like animals and all this other things, and that, people need to think about it and stop treating them like animals, and it's not fair. And it's like, dude, that's the exact thing that we're crying about right now. And you don't even want to look at it. It's like, it's the first time that you've been treated like that. Oh man, for a fucking week, you've been treated like an animal. And now all of a sudden you want change and you want to see a change. It's like, yeah, that's what we're all talking about right now. What time is it at?
24.
Okay, perfect. Let me know when we get close to 30. But I mean, it's a weird time, because you can't say this, otherwise you're a racist, or you can't say that, otherwise you're, on the other side, like you're trying too far. Like, I see a lot of bullshit too online. I see a lot of people who don't give a fuck about race and don't give a fuck about these things, posting these things just to get the attention, or just to be in what's now. Like, it's no longer COVID. Now it's okay. Now it's talking about this or talking about that. Like, these are real issues that I've dealt with my whole life. I don't think I told this story, but when I was like 13, I don't even remember how old I was, but me, my sister, and my mom were at a friend's house, and my mom had gone there first, and the ladies were making tamales, and it was around Christmas time, and we went. My dad, me, and my sister all came late to the party, And when we pulled up to the house, we went inside, and then my dad went out to go get a Christmas present for the grandparents, or the parents of the people's house that we were at. They had came in from out of town. And them and my parents were all really close. So my dad goes to get the gift for him out of the car, and he's gone for like 15, 20 minutes. None of us know really think anything of it. I just assumed that he probably called somebody from Texas. It's around Christmas time, so I assumed that he called somebody and was, talking to one of his parents or something like that. So anyways, the guy comes home. One of the homeowner comes home, and he had just been out. The husband, I'm sorry, everybody else had been home already, but the husband pulls up to the house, and he says, "Why is Gabe in the back of a cop car?" And so we all come outside, and there's 13 cop cars at least, all parked down the cul-de-sac, and they're all pointing their guns towards one cop car that my dad's handcuffed and sitting in the back of. And so we're all wondering what the hell's going on, and the cop comes right up to the guy who just came home, and he goes, "Do you know this guy?" And he says, "Yeah, we invite him over to the house." So he takes the handcuffs off of my dad, and the guy doesn't say anything, and they go about, and he said, he finally says, a neighbor called and said that they saw 3 armed men walking into a house, and they were going to break in. Mind you, I'm young as fuck. I'm skinny as shit now. I was skinnier then. I look like an Auschwitz fucking survivor. And then my sister, who was fucking maybe at the most 9, and she's all teeth, and she weighs fucking maybe 80 pounds. It's like, it was completely ridiculous. And, no apology, no anything. I believe the cop's words were, "Most of the time we get bad guys, but I guess not today." And it's like those kind of things that, like, the cop jumped to first, jumped to throwing my dad on the ground. And, when my dad tells a story, it was as soon as he came out, all the cop cars pull up. He's walking to a car, and they all tell him to get down on the fucking ground, and he's got keys in his hands, and they say, "What do you have in your hands?" And he says, "They're keys," and they make him get on his belly, and then they come up to him, and they put his hands behind his back, they arrest him, they put him in the back of the cop car, and then they made him sit there, and they were talking shit to him and interrogating him until we came out there to see what the fuck was going on. So who knows what the fuck would have gone on if we didn't come out there. And it's disgusting, man. Like, shit like that happens all the fucking time. And it's like, and if my dad was my grandpa, and he couldn't speak English very well, and he's sitting there with somebody like that, like, it would have been worse. So, I'm for change. Yeah. Okay. I'm for change, and, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the answer is, but I think that it lies somewhere in the middle, obviously. And I think most of us are in the middle. And I can't believe, I'm going to throw this out there because there's no way any of you can fucking believe that Donald Trump and fucking Biden are our choices for president. We have to fucking protest that. That's what we should be protesting right now. Straight the fuck up. Fuck this. We've got to figure out some kind of protest before November on how the fuck we pick somebody else besides these 2 fucking retards. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. And this has been the fucking shit. I love you.
Always asking me what I got on. They be like, "Hey Brandon, what you got on?" Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. That's black.